she said we get a bonus.
Funny you say that episode.
Welcome to Funny You Say That with Skeptical Scott and friends. This is a quick bonus episode to address a timely topic: James Dobson's passing and his legacy of focus on my family. Focus on the family. Many of you likely have heard of him, but for our younger listeners, here's a quick bio from our co-host, Artie Fisher.
James Dobson was an American evangelical Christian author, psychologist, and founder of Focus on the Family, which he led from 1977 until 2010. He was ranked as one of the most influential spokesmen for conservative social positions in American public life. Although never an ordained minister, he was called the nation's most influential evangelical leader by the New York Times. Many considered him the successor to evangelical leaders Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson. He produced the daily radio program Focus on the Family, heard all over the country and worldwide. Focus on the Family was also carried by about 60 U.S. television stations daily. In 2010, he launched the radio broadcast Family Talk with Dr. James Dobson. Dobson advocated for traditional gender roles, which he believed are mandated by the Bible. The goal of this was to promote heterosexual marriage, which he viewed as a cornerstone of civilization that was to be protected from his perceived dangers of feminism and the LGBT rights movement. He also famously advocated for the occasional beating of children because the Bible said so. He also promoted gay conversion therapy. The result was abuse directed towards thousands, likely millions.
I will not rehash the exact terrible things James Dobson has said and written, but instead let the words of John Paulk speak. John certainly knows this topic better than most, as he worked for Focus on the Family for years. With permission from John, I will read his recollection of his experience with Focus on the Family, which he just posted yesterday, the same day James Dobson died. So here we go. James Dobson's legacy isn't family values. It's broken lives, like mine. James Dobson, founder of Focus on the Family, died today at 89. Obituaries call him a giant of evangelical Christianity and a defender of families. That isn't what I remember. I remember the damage. Believing the lie. For 5 years, I worked inside Focus on the Family. I was hired to direct the homosexuality and gender division and created the Love One Out conference, which toured the country and sometimes drew more than 1,000 people. From those stages, I introduced ex-gays who told audiences that homosexuality was a condition that could be changed if someone was motivated enough. And I wasn't just organizing the conferences. I was the poster boy. My story was held up as proof that change was real. I was placed on magazine covers, invited onto national television, and interviewed by countless major newspapers and radio programs. I wrote 2 books and spoke to audiences across the United States and Europe. My marriage, my children, and my faith were showcased as evidence that the movement worked. But the truth was very different. I lied to the people I preached to, but I was lying to myself the most. I had become brainwashed by the false narrative that sexual orientation was changeable when it was not. Every headline that proclaimed me cured drove me deeper into despair because I knew the truth hadn't budged. Behind the scenes, the torment was unbearable. I remember nights alone in hotel rooms before a conference, waiting to go on stage to tell my story of freedom. Instead of resting or preparing my notes, I would end up on the carpeted floor, curled in on myself, sobbing until my body heaved and I vomited. The weight of the lie crushed me, the truth I could not change, and the performance I was expected to deliver. I remember one night in particular. The crowd was already gathering in the ballroom below, the sound of muffled voices rising through the vents like a distant hum. A knock at the door jolted me upright, an assistant checking to see if I was ready. I splashed water on my face, straightened my tie, and forced a smile into the mirror. But just minutes before, I had been begging God through tears, please lift this responsibility from me. I cannot do this to myself or others any longer. Then I walked out, took the stage, and told the crowd exactly what they came to hear. That split between the man on the stage and the man on the hotel room floor nearly destroyed me. Breaking point. Faith had become a weapon aimed at people like me. We were told that real Christians must seek to be changed, that obedience meant erasing who we were. And when change never came, the conclusion was devastating. Maybe we weren't real Christians at all. But the deepest harm wasn't just mine. It was inflicted on young people who sat in those audiences and watched me on those stages and TV programs. Teenagers saw the posters, read the interviews, and thought, if he can do it, why can't I? Parents brought their kids to us, hoping to fix them, only to leave with more shame and less love. The science has confirmed what our lives were already shouting. The American Medical Association warns that conversion therapy doesn't work and causes lasting harm. A 2022 meta-analysis in JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, covering nearly 200,000 LGBTQ people, found that 12% had been subjected to conversion efforts. Those young adults reported double the rates of severe psychological distress and suicide attempts compared with their peers. The American Psychological Association likewise concluded in 2009, no evidence of change, overwhelming evidence of damage. I didn't need journals. My life was the proof. Conversion therapy didn't make me straight. It made me ashamed, hollow, hopeless, and suicidal. I left the movement in 2003 and became a chef in Portland, Oregon. I never again spoke about my past or its aftermath, but in 2013, 10 years later, my struggle was to the point that if I didn't do something to change all of this, I was going to take my life. I couldn't live with myself any longer. When I came out, again, it caused a national stir. After years of intense therapy and numerous national apologies to those for whom my message hurt, things began to mend. Today, my life could not be more different. I live out loud. I walk in truth and authenticity. I no longer split myself between the man in public and the man in private. I'm simply myself. I'm a gay man, whole, safe, secure, and loved. I spend my days being a voice for the disenfranchised and for those who feel lost without hope. I've dedicated myself to speaking truth, not lies, and to helping others untangle the shame I once carried. And I am a joy-filled, loving father and grandfather. My children know me as I truly am, not a facade, not a poster boy, but a man who loves them without condition and who is loved in return. I believe now what I wish I had known all along, that God loves us as we are and walks with us through the difficulties of life, not as a punisher demanding change, but as a companion offering strength, grace, and love. When I read that James Dobson is being remembered as a man who cared about families, I think instead about the families torn apart by his message. Parents taught to fear their own children. Spouses trapped in marriages built on self-denial. Young people who looked at me, the smiling success story on the magazine cover, and walked away believing they were broken beyond repair because they couldn't replicate my lie. Dobson's empire baptized cruelty and called it love. That is his true legacy. But those of us who lived through it are writing a different ending. Our story is one of survival. It looks like telling the truth even when it costs. It looks like acknowledging our complicity while naming the coercion. It looks like building lives where we no longer need to prove our worth. For years, I parroted a message that broke me as much as anyone else. Today, I live in truth. James Dobson has died, but we survived. John, thank you for sharing your words. And listeners, if any of you want to reach out to John personally, I've included his contact information in the show notes. And that's our goodbye to James Dobson and Focus on the Family, the organization that somehow turned 1950s gender roles, homophobia, and science denial into a tax-deductible mission from God. So if you're feeling confused about your identity, questioning your faith, or just tired of being told that your humanity is a culture war issue, I have good news. Love, compassion, critical thinking, they are still available without a matching set of Bible verses. Thanks for tuning in to Funny You Say That. We'll see you next time.